Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode 818 and Doubleshot number 712. I have, technically it is one DC slash Dark Horse trade and another Dark Horse trade. Yeah, as far as I can tell, I've never actually reviewed any trades from Dark Horse. Kind of anyways. This might be my second throw because I have reviewed from Dark Horse in the past. I have reviewed the Hellboy Wild Tales. I reviewed that. That was some time ago. I reviewed that. But yeah, that's the only Dark Horse book I can think of that's published by Dark Horse I have reviewed. Alright, first up is a crossover between DC and Dark Horse. Now, they have done several of these over the years. This is by far the only time that these two franchises ever crossed over. Now, one of these franchises has crossed the DC Universe several times over the years. Mostly with Batman and Superman, yes. But this is by far the only time these particular creatures have fought this particular character. And they've also fought Judge Dredd. Who are they? The Xenomorph Aliens. This is Green Lantern versus Aliens. Yeah, and here's the thing about this miniseries. It actually has two Green Lanterns in it. In the first issue, it's Hal Jordan. Issues 2 through 4. Yeah, I believe this is a 4-issue limited series. If I'm not mistaken, correct? Yeah, it's a 4-issue limited series. Even though it's kind of published through Dark Horse, but technically I do count this as a DC kind of trade. Now, Hal Jordan is only in the opening issue. The rest of the course is Kyle Rayner. Yes, and this is written by the first writer who actually wrote Kyle Rayner. Technically, this is Kyle Rayner's creator, Ron Martz. Yep, Ron Martz writes this miniseries. One of several miniseries that Kyle Rayner has had over the years. Yes, one of several. And the artwork is done by Rick Lombardi. Yeah, a guy who's noteworthy for being the co-creator of Spider-Man 2089. Yep. Simply put, for this miniseries, it's just, well, as the title says, Green Lantern versus Aliens. But here's the thing. Unlike in other series where you have heroes killing these aliens, Green Lantern doesn't kill them. Surprisingly, yeah, despite the fact it's overwhelming numbers, Hal Jordan, guess what he does with these creatures? He picks them up with the Green Lantern ring and dumps them on Mogo. Seriously, this is what he does with them. And of course, then they do a time skip when they have Kyle Rayner in charge. And of course, at this point, he's the only Green Lantern. That's kind of a loose tie-in to what was going on in Green Lantern at this point. Where we only had one Green Lantern. This actually was mainly during Ron Martz's run. It was basically after he left, like around that long after he left the book. That's when they started adding more Green Lanterns. Yep, and the rookie Green Lanterns who actually show up in the first issue, they do show up for pretty much the whole series, and they all stay with a Ripley knockoff character. Yeah, this character's like Ripley, so she's hunting aliens. Except she's a blonde, and she's also a robot. Seriously, this character is a robot. Now, as for when in the Aliens continuity this takes place, no idea, because the thing with these crossovers is they're not canon at all. They're just basically written just because people are fans of these characters. But I gotta say, this is actually really, really good. I gotta praise Ron Martz writing the aliens really interesting. And of course, he writes Kyle Rayner to be a really good character. Now, as far as I can tell, this is the only time I can think of he's ever written the Aliens franchise. Yeah, it's only contribution to it, as far as I know. Usually, if other people like Dan Abnett, Kelly Sue Honig, many different writers have had their hands in it. But as far as I know, for like Ron Martz, this is the only one he's ever done. The guy is also noteworthy for being the first writer for the Connell Superboy, technically aka Connor Kent. Yeah, he's also the one. I believe he's also his creator. I don't believe he's his creator, but he was the first writer for the series. This is really going to make this book a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is another Dark Horse book. This is Star Wars Crimson Empire 3 Empire Lost. Focuses on this guy, the Royal Guard. Yep. And his name is Car Kronos. Yeah, I've kind of read the series before, but it's been a long time since I read this series, so I kind of know what's going on here. Now, according to the original continuity, this, of course, is the Dark Horse continuity, not the current continuity. Yeah, the current continuity basically made this not canon, though they did keep Darth Maul Son of Dathomir. They kept that particular book canon. Now, this says takes place 2 years after the events of Crimson Empire 2, Council of Blood, and is followed by Chewbacca and Invasion Volume 1 Refugees. Yep, that's pretty much when this takes place, like during the period of time after the first Galactic Civil War. Well, this is of course in the original timeline because they had another one in the Star Wars Legacy series. Yeah, they had another Galactic Civil War, one that basically collapsed the New Republic and formed the Galactic Alliance, which was founded by Luke Skywalker of all people. This says it takes place 9 years after the events of Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, in the case of this particular miniseries, yeah, it's only 6 issues. Yeah, it just deals with some characters from his past. And weird thing about this series, though, you never see this guy without his helmet on. Yeah, I have no idea what this guy looks like because I don't exactly remember the first 2 series, but the only reason why I got my hand reading this now because I got my hands in this. So, even though I kind of read this out of order, but yeah, I know Disney considered this part of the Legends line. As far as I know, Disney is not reprint. Not Disney. Excuse me. Marvel has never reprinted this. The only Star Wars books from Dark Horse they have published under the Legends line is they published Darth Maul of Death. They published that in the canon, and they published Star Wars Republic, and that's it. They've never published anything else under the Legends imprint for the Epic Collections. Yeah, they never published anything else though. I haven't seen anything else. I'm sure a lot of people really do want to get their hands on these newer trades that collect stuff from Dark Horse. I did hear a rumor a few years ago, and this was a rumor, I don't know if it's true, that apparently Dark Horse put a bounty on the Marvel Star Wars books where that I think of like buying a whole bunch and get paid like a bunch of money. Yeah, the bounty thing was a little weird. The fact that, and of course Dark Horse had massive like buyouts. Yeah, basically buy all of our comic books. Because Dark Horse at that point lost license. This was, of course, in 2012. About 2 years this was in 2014 when they lost license. Yeah, 2 years after this miniseries concluded. Now, next episode, I do have another Star Wars miniseries. One that's based upon one of the mini drafts of Star Wars, the original film. This is a really good miniseries. I do recommend people fans of Star Wars. Particularly people who are fans of the original canon. Now, I was not reading this when it came out. I mainly read it as a random trade I picked up in the library. You'll notice I read it because it had the name Star Wars on it. In case the character himself, I do think he's an interesting character. I read some of the Star Wars stuff from the Dark Horse line. Like, I did read one of the 2 last Star Wars ongoing series, Star Wars by Brian Wood. I have read the original Star Wars Legacy series and the second one. The first Star Wars Legacy series takes place in the future, which focuses on a descendant of Luke Skywalker. This, of course, has nothing to do with any of the characters. I think that you have an appearance by C-3PO in here, but that's it. But it is a good miniseries nonetheless. Now, I don't know if Tiddy has ever read this miniseries. I'm sure he probably has. I know for a fact that Master Panther loves this canon. He doesn't care much for the current canon, but he does like the original canon. Me, I got into it, man. I first did the novels, the original canon, and then the comic books. That's how I got into the thing. Okay? I'm going to give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. It's really good. The rating here is done by Mike Richardson and Rainey Sturdley. I'm not familiar with these writers, but I am familiar with the artist, Paul Galassi. Yep. Yes, Paul Galassi does this artwork. Yeah, I gotta say, for backgrounds-wise, Paul Galassi does a really good job with backgrounds. His faces are pretty good. I've heard his weakness is women. Yeah, he does not draw good female characters at all. That's why I've heard his reputation. Where he draws, like, one of the worst cases of this was a miniseries I've never read it, but I've seen images of it, and that was a miniseries called Sci-Spy, and the characters look really bad. Like, they look like they're spaced out. Yeah, that's simply how he is. And he's also bad at drawing women's bodies. Yeah. I do think he's an okay artist. I don't think he's a terrible artist, but yeah. 9 out of 10. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be on another Star Wars book and a book from Vertigo. You'll find out what they are in the next episode, okay? We'll see you there. Bye.